2013, there were 44 million student athletes. Of those, 1.1 to 1.9 million of those student athletes received some form of brain injury or concussion. That number is not concrete, however, because they believe a bunch of cases were not properly recorded or documented. Of the cases that were recorded, however, 510,000 to 1.24 million did not seek care in a healthcare setting. That means a doctor or an emergency room. And that, again, the number that I'm stating does not include things such as torn ACLs, broken bones, things like that. This is just concussions. So when you see esports as a safer alternative, that does not mean it's necessarily safe. In a study conducted by Kabarakis, Rodenberg, and Holden, they found that the two major dangers facing people who expose themselves to long periods of video games and screen time are mental and physical exhaustion. However, these two are very easy to combat and will be explained later on in the speech. On top of being safer, esports also offers all the same life lessons that you would get in a regular sport. These lessons include teamwork, strategy, practice, and camaraderie. Teamwork is pretty straightforward. Professional gaming teams typically are composed of 5 to 6 players with a couple people on the bench. Understanding how each player plays and their tendencies of how to act in certain situations helps you form better strategies as to how to play, which leads into my next topic of strategy. In every game, whether it be a video game or a sport, strategy is important. Knowing when to rush a site, when to push the payload, and when to fall back is just as important as knowing when to throw, when to pass, and when to punt. Practice, as in every skill in life, every skill in life requires practice. The same is true in esports. Not practicing loses your skill, loses the game. On top of virtual practice, a lot of teams also require their players to do a physical workout in order to combat the mental and physical exhaustion that was talked about earlier. The most important lesson learned in both esports and sports is camaraderie. Some of my best friends I've ever had have been made through video games, and in fact, there have been marriages that have come out of video games. In a post by the New York Times, they talked about the couple of Peter and Hannah Romero, who played World of Warcraft together in 2012. A friendship formed, then a relationship, and then they got married over the course of 3 years. And as in modern traditional sports, those of particular skill can also find a career that will make them good amounts of money. From a pro player, coach, caster to an analyst, or just a regular run-of-the-mill staff member, the opportunities in the esports community are immense. Being a pro player is for those who have exceptional talent, just as is true in traditional sports. They show exceptional understanding of the game, aim and skill, and all other forms of knowledge of the game. Coaches are typically retired players, but don't necessarily have to be. All they need is an intimate knowledge of the game in order to teach others how to play. And they are just as vital to the team as the pro players are themselves. Casters are a vital part of esports because they help break down some of the events as they're happening in a fast-paced and ever-changing environment. They help in a game where the split-second decisions can mean everything. They help break down why certain people choose certain options. After-game analysts are like casters, however, as the name implies, they analyze things after the game is over or during halftime. They show different angles of certain events because when you're watching an esport, you typically can only see one screen at a time. So they are able to show you exactly how other things happen and how things lined up. And if all of that isn't, your style, you can just work at the basic levels. You can be the guy who sells tickets, or you can even be setting up the competition. The possibilities of a job in the esport community is endless. And so looking over all of the information presented today, I hope you guys can see esport as something that should be considered as a legitimate and viable option, an alternative for people to participate in, as well as student athletes to compete in.